Well, hello, good morning everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back and today I want to talk about Alone. I want to talk about Season 6, Episode 11, Fire and Ice. This is the Season 6 finale, so if you haven't seen that episode, please turn this video off. Go watch that episode and then come back to this video. It will contain spoilers. I got my notes in hand. Let's go ahead and get started. Look at my shirt, first of all. Tie-dye. It's got a little purple, little pink, blue. My daughter made this for me and I'm so happy. So the quote comes on the screen and it says, "One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful." And this is by Sigmund Freud. I don't know who that person is, but that is a valuable quote. It's so accurate. Some of the things that you go through in your life that are the hardest will become the most beautiful memories. I mean, that's so true. So we're starting this episode off. We're on day 70. That's a long time to be out there. 3 people left just after midnight. We're talking about Jordan. He's inside his shelter. He's filming what looks to be like the window or something like that. And there's a white animal. To me it looks like a ferret or something. Comes up over and the thing is like fearless. Cool little animal. I guess they call it an ermine or something. To me it looks like a weasel or a ferret. I don't know. Ermine I guess is a technical name. So this thing's trying to steal a rabbit hide, which is almost bigger than it, and it grabs that thing and backwards it goes up the wall and out, and Jordan's like, holy crap, you know, we'll probably see that thing again later. He's getting a little too comfortable here stealing my stuff, you know. So I thought that was some cool footage that he got. Let's move forward about 9 o'clock in the morning. Now we're definitely into day 70. It's cold outside, 0 degrees Fahrenheit. And Jordan says, it feels really nice in my shelter, but when I come outside of my shelter, it's really cold out here. He decides he's going to go check out his meat, get some food or something like that. And he's frustrated because he forgot to take his ladder down, and his ladder was left up, and looks like the Wolverines may have got to his food stash. And then there's an annotation on the screen that says something to the effect of lack of fat in your diet causes your mind to kind of go. You forget things, you lose track of things. And that might have been why he left the ladder up. Kind of plays tricks on your mind. So he's talking about the fact that he's getting thin, he's getting skinny, he's concerned. But I don't think he's like planning on quitting or anything. And he had a fish up there in his stash. And the fish is still there, but all the good fatty parts are ate off of the fish. The Wolverines know what to go for. You know, the skin of the fish was eaten off. So let's move forward. A little bit after 1 o'clock, we're talking about Nathan. So he's looking at his belt and he's counting the notches that he's had to count, you know, that he's had to adjust his belt. And he says he's had to adjust between 6 and 7 notches. That's crazy. He's losing a lot of weight. That's nuts. And then the annotation comes on the screen. It says he's lost 26% of his body weight since he's been launched out there. Crazy. He decides to get up and he's going to go check his gill net. And the footage that he has is just crazy. It looks extremely cold outside. -6 degrees. He's out on the lake. There's powder and wind and snow. I mean, very exposed out there. And he's trying to get his gill net up and he's chopping the ice with his axe. or his hatchet. And it's frozen into the ice. He didn't put the snow on it like Jordan did to keep it from freezing. Maybe he didn't know that technique. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that technique. I wouldn't have thought of that, so mine would have probably froze up too. But he's using his axe, and he's kind of tugging and pulling a little bit on the gill net, trying to get it up, and guess what? He accidentally rips his gill net, and from what he said, it's pretty bad. You know, maybe the frustration, the temperature, you know, thin cordage and icy conditions, you know, it sucks. Bad deal for Nathan. Let's move forward. A little after 2:50 in the afternoon, we're talking about Monia. And she's talking about food. And she says, all I want is a biscuit. Like maybe just a biscuit. Like, I don't know, I'm going to elaborate. Maybe a drop biscuit or something. And she says, and butter too. You know, she's so happy. Her morale is good. She's a good person. Her shelter, I think, of the three, from what we can see, in my opinion, her shelter looks the most solid. Her morale is good, her positive mind, and she notices that she's metabolizing her muscle tissue now. She realizes the fact that her body has been in ketosis so long that she's lost fat, and her body's starting to cut into muscle. She feels that. She can sense that. Like I said, she can feel that. And it's starting to concern her. She says, there's no fat left on my body. So she's going to go try to get some ice fishing done. Maybe catch some fish or something and get some fat. So she goes out on the lake, and the ice is over a foot thick, she says. At least a foot thick. It might even be 16 inches or 18, I don't know. The ice is thick. So she said this is going to be very difficult. You know, it's a hard task. And I had to watch the episode twice because she's trying to dig in the ice, and the first go around when I watched the show, I could not tell what she was using to try to dig in the ice. I had to really go back and look at that section of the video to see what it was. And from what I can tell, it looks like she's using her folding saw, her silky katana boy, to try to cut or break through the ice. Now, she's having a hard time with it. And she says that an axe or a hatchet would have been a much better option, but from what we can gather, she doesn't have an axe or hatchet, so she's resorting to using her saw. And she spent several hours working on that task of trying to dig a hole in this ice of this lake so she could try to fish. And so after several hours of her digging and stuff with this, she only got a few inches into the ice. And so she decides that it's not worth the energy that it's going to take to get this hole dug. So, from what I can gather, she forgoes the idea of ice fishing. So now we're moving forward to day 71. Still have 3 people left. We're talking about Nathan. It's a little bit after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. -1 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And he's in his shelter, and he's iced in, he says. You know, his gloves are like frozen solid. It's crazy. He decided to go down earlier and put lines in the water for fishing, ice fishing. He says, I put 6 lines in the water with double hooks, and I used intestines for bait. And he says that he feels confident that he's going to hit on some of these lines. He says, I have 1 smoked fish left and some cold soup. So tonight, before bed, I'm going to heat up that soup and eat that. And then he starts talking about his grandpa, kind of reminiscing a little bit. He says, my grandpa told me, and I'm going to quote his grandpa here, he says, all you have to do is not quit. And he agrees with his grandpa. That's true, You know, that is a very valid statement. All you have to do to win alone is not quit. So true. So moving forward, this is where it gets tricky. A little bit after 11 o'clock, 11:48 to be exact. He's in his shelter with a nice warm fire. He's talking about winning. He's talking about using the money to go see some of his family because he doesn't get to go see them that much. And his shelter catches on fire. And it's bad. You know, the footage that he captured of this fire, you know, from the camera outside that was placed and the camera inside, I mean, he's literally trying to battle these flames, and flames are all around him. It's hardcore. He's desperately trying to put this fire out. There's one point in the video where it looks like it's burning his sleeping bag a little bit. He pulls the sleeping bag out of the way. It's hardcore. His shelter is completely up in flames. I mean, just terrible. The bad part about being in the Arctic, and he even mentioned this, was there's no water available to fight a fire like this. You know, everything's frozen and ice and snow and stuff, and he didn't have water on hand to put this fire out. This terrible situation. So I'm so frustrated on his behalf. So he gets the radio and he's calling to tap out. You know, he can't do nothing. The shelter's gone. You know, earlier in the day it was -1 outside. You know, it's a tough situation. And then I hear him clearly tell them on this conversation, he says, I'm in an exposed situation. I mean, he said it very clear to them. And they tell him, well, we can't fly a helicopter at night. We have no way to get to you. We can't get a boat there, nothing. You're going to have to survive the night, and we'll be there tomorrow. I don't know what exactly was taking place on the conversation because it didn't show the actual conversation, but that's what I gathered from what happened. So day 72 rolls in. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's 2 degrees outside. He says, the only thing I have left is my axe and my boots. And most other things are gone. He says he's going to start an emergency shelter. At 3:20 in the morning, he finally finishes building a lean-to structure for a survival shelter. It's 0 degrees outside. He said, my feet are getting cold. And he did have his sleeping bag, by the way. And then at 9:41 in the morning on day 72, the helicopter finally pulls up and arrives. This is 10 hours later. And I've got a lot of feelings about that situation right there. You know, yes, these people are survivalists, and yes, they're black belts in what they do. You know, they're out there, as I mentioned earlier, black belts in previous commentaries. You know, but I think they kind of get overlooked a little bit because Nathan's situation was he was in dire straits. It really, no joke, ended up being a real survival situation. Not a safety net, a real survival situation. He could have died out there. You know, and I always bring analogies of martial arts into my commentary, and I'll bring another one in here for this video. In Jiu-Jitsu, we practice this art, and we do joint locks, we do chokes, we do strangulation and things like that. And when we've had enough, we tap out, okay? We tap out to prevent further damage from happening to our bodies. If we're in an arm lock and we don't tap, our arm could be broken. Our shoulder could be dislocated. We could be choked unconscious, which could eventually kill you. So we tap out for them to release the hold, okay? And that's our safety net. That's why we can practice this art. So in my mind, when he tapped out to ask them to release him of the hold, so to speak, the hold being the survival situation that he's in, and the submission hold that's around him, being the cold, 72 days out there, you know, all his stuff's just burned up. he's asking for them to help him out. He's asking for help by tapping out, and they made him wait. That frustrates me to no end. You know, and I understand that they can't just get a helicopter going in those temperatures. You know, I understand that it's nitty gritty. But when you got people out there putting their life on the line for this show, it's my very strong opinion that there should have been like base camp set up, wall tents or something with heaters in them. Something so that if something bad happened, they can get to the person within an hour or something, or maybe sooner, and get them out, get them into a warm, because to make him stay out there in those conditions, and I don't know if he told them that's what he would do, or if they made him do, I don't know the situation. All I know is what it appears to be on the screen from what I can see. You know, for all I know, he might have told them, I'll be fine, just come get me in the morning. You know, it might have been something like that. I don't know. I do know that the participants of the show spend countless hours behind the camera, and what we see on the screen is just a tiny fraction of what really happened. So maybe Nathan's behind it, you know, and he's cool about it or something like that. I don't know. But that was a legitimate concern that I had. You know, he's tapping out, asking for them to help him, you know, release the hold, release this grip that's on me. And he had to wait till the following morning. He had to make a whole lean-to shelter, stay up till 3:30, where was it, 3:30 in the morning, making a shelter to survive after being out there 72 days. I mean, that's pretty tough. So at that point, what's the point of tapping out? You know, he made it through the night, he had another shelter. You know, just hardcore. And then there was an annotation that come on the screen, and it said, before leaving, the extraction crew and Nathan extinguished all remnants of the shelter fire. Now, in my opinion, I think that the crew could have done that. I think Nathan's had enough. I don't think he needs to be worried about putting out a fire and doing extra work out there. I mean, I just felt like he tapped out. He gave up. You know, the situation was what it was. And I just felt like the Alone team could have done a better job handling that whole situation with Nathan. That's just my opinion. And I'm putting it out there. So hopefully they'll learn from that experience. But I don't know what Nathan told them. It might have been all on Nathan. He might have said, I'm good to go. I can make it till the morning. You know, don't worry. I don't know. I really don't know. But that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm feeling. So moving forward, we're still on day 72, 10:30 in the morning. We have two people left now, Wonia and Jordan, talking about Jordan. He says, when I get back, I want to make bone marrow with chocolate around them. Don't steal my idea, he says, like some candies or something with fat in them. He decides that he's going to do some ice fishing, and he plans on using his headlamp. And he drops the headlamp down in the hole so that it will shine some light on his bait. Hopefully that the fish will see that, the light, come bite it. And he's getting really thin. He says that he thinks his light's not bright enough. Moving forward to 12:30, Wonia. She has some soup, and the soup is pretty hardcore. It's made out of squirrel tails and rabbit's feet, and that's her soup. And she's such a tough woman. She loves this place out here. She's getting tired of starving though. It's really taking a toll on her. She decides that she's going to go check her snares. There's nothing there. She's already tried to ice fish, couldn't get through the ice. She's just striking out everywhere. Moving forward, 5:43 in the afternoon, day 72. She knows that she's getting skinny. She's concerned. She talks about the money versus your health. And she talks about growing up with little money. Talks about the benefits of if she could win the money. But she says, I don't want to push my body to the point where there could be long-term damage. She said, my body's already done everything I asked for it to do, and I don't want to push past that. And ultimately, you know, she can feel what her body's doing. She's in tune with herself. We have to trust her judgment. So moving forward to day 73, 8:40 in the morning, we're talking about Jordan. He said that he had an active mind last night. He said he was thinking about everything that he's been dealing with, all the trials and tribulations that he's going through out there, and that he needs fat. He needs fat. And then on day 73, we hear a helicopter. And I'm thinking, oh no, we don't know who, you know. They kind of leave you hanging, which is good. It keeps the hook in you as a viewer. Good job on the editor's part for that. And it's Juanita. And she said she wants to stay so bad, but she knows that her body's done. I mean, like I mentioned a second ago, she's in tune. She knows. She can feel it. Today's her birthday, the day that she taps. It's her birthday. And she said the best gift that I could give myself is putting myself in a place where there's warmth and food and I have the ability to care for myself. And she taps. And I'll tell you what, my hat is off to that woman. She is amazing. You know, she went out there and shared us a wonderful story. And the very heartfelt words that she said at the moment of quitting was just remarkable. So much love and respect to Juanita. I finally got your name right. If you're watching out there, you know, much love, much respect. Now here's the kicker, moving on. So she tapped on day 73. Now it's day 77. And we're talking about Jordan. 9:20 in the morning. So this is weird. Where did the time go? You know, why didn't they notify Jordan immediately after Juanita tapped? Or the following day, you know, or something like that. Why did they wait 4 days? You know, maybe it was to get his wife there, or, you know, I just don't see why they had to wait that long. That kind of frustrates me. I think, you know, after going through so much and putting so much on your body and all this, I think the participants deserve to find out immediately after, you know, okay, it's done. You know, he's out there ice fishing, and he gets this huge, I mean, this thing is huge fish. Says it's a pike. He does a selfie with the, he does this, and that was funny. I love Jordan. He's cool. He's got ice all over his face, and he's got this fish behind him. There's this wind blowing powdered snow, and he's standing on the lake. Just hardcore footage, man. This dude, I love him. I love his personality. He's talking about a selfie stick, and he says, "I'm in the Arctic," you know, and he's just hamming it up for the camera. So he decides that he's going to have some fish soup for lunch. And like I mentioned a second ago, he's waiting on the med check. And he says, "What can I say to them to convince them that I'm fine?" He says, "I don't want to lose any more weight." And then he hears the helicopter coming. And this part right here was pretty cool, because as the team showed up, as they're walking up on him, he's eating fish. I mean, steam coming off the fish. I mean, he's eating as they pull up. It's pretty crazy. And they ask him, "How you feeling right now, Jordan?" He says I can healthily be lighter than anyone else out here. And he's kind of talking and stuff about how good he feels, and you know, and then as this is happening, his wife's walking up behind him. And these are the moments of the show that I love the most, when they declare the winner and their family or whoever, their kids, whoever walks up. Those moments in every episode of Alone, every season of Alone, have been epic. That's just the most amazing footage that I've seen. So she's there, and of course he's freaked out, like, oh my God, you know, all these, like I mentioned in previous seasons, all these mix of emotions just flood coming through, you know, just it's got to be so overwhelming. And so she sees a piece of paracord hanging up, and she says something like, "Is that your clothesline or something?" And he says, "No, that's where I hung the moose hide." And his wife, she's so cool, she hits him in the chest. She's like, "You got a moose?" With her mitten, you know, she hits him in the chest. She says, "You got a moose?" Oh, that was such a cool moment. And he says, "I don't have to miss Christmas." And then she hits him and she says, "You're a wild person." Yeah, this is so crazy, you know. He tells her about the moose and tells her that he got a wolverine. He takes her in the shelter and shows her his shelter, and and she kind of tackles him, and they fall down on the bed and they're giggling, and I mean, priceless, the footage that you see right there. I mean, he's happy. He knows that he's done. The suffering is over, and he told her, he said, "I had a lot more in me, I could have went further," and she seems like such a good partner for him. It's just their kids. It's just awesome. And then, kind of off topic a little bit, one of my friends messages me and he says, "Hey, congratulations on winning season 6 of Alone." Because there's been people that have thought that was me, and that I was Jordan. They didn't know my name or something like that. No, that's not me. Jordan's a stud. I can relate to him though. I don't know if it's like my demeanor or my skill set or my personality or the way I look or what, but I can definitely relate to Jordan. But that's it for Alone. And the finale was awesome. Just those couple concerns that I had about Nathan, and again, not to beat a dead horse here, but I don't know all the facts. I'm just stating what I see as a viewer, as a fan of the show, and some areas that I think they might want to clean up in future seasons, because this really can be a dire situation. I mean, that dude could have really been in a bad way. So with all that being said, I want to say thank you for watching this whole series of videos that I've done on season 6 of Alone. If you haven't seen them and maybe stumbled on this one or something, please go back and watch my commentary. And I want to thank you guys that have watched them. And as always, please get involved in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking about it. I love reading your comments and your thoughts. And until next time, again, folks, thanks for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, and congratulations to Jordan for winning season 6. It'd be such an honor to meet him someday and just hang out. And, we do have a lot of similarities, him and me. It's crazy. We'll talk at you later. Bye for now. Have a beautiful day.